the Sounders crash and burn in a 2-0 loss to Cascadia rivals Vancouver Whitecaps in a game where the rails just came off.
Yeah, completely. It was a train wreck, to say the least. Two red cards end up piling up against you. Frustration, chemistry issues, locker room issues, possibly. It was just not a good night here in Seattle.
Is the sky falling?
Anybody who is tuned into this fine programming knows I like to say no, but I don't know. It feels different. It feels, the locker room feels different. Just the vibe right now feels different. I don't know if the sky's falling, but the clouds are moving in.
Fair enough. I'm Osvita Maria. He is Russell Brown. So, yeah, like we said, we did good beginning. Then the red card, like you mentioned, right? 43rd minute, Raul Ruidiaz is taken off.
Yep.
Arriaga is subbed right before halftime. And so here's what Brian Smetzer had to say about that.
Well, Raul certainly has been very good so far this year. He has put a lot of effort into the game. My decision to keep Jordan Morris on the field is when you lose a man, a lot of times your opponent gains an advantage and they push you back. And Jordan has speed that in transition maybe can help you in certain moments of the game. So it has nothing to do with Raul. He's going to play the next game, and he's been very good for us.
Yeah, I think when things are not working for you, then there's only, you can either sit there and mope and find excuses, or you can try to find another level. And the easiest way to do that is to show up and work extra hard. Try to give it your all in everything that you do. And so, because, right, I can't tell you we did this wrong and therefore we lost. But the way we can get out of it is by just trying to do your best. And that starts on Tuesday. Well, actually starts now by trying to get away from it. And like I said, mentally recovering. But come Tuesday, when you step on the field, when you get in the gym, when you do your recovery, when you do your hydration, your nutrition, can you do everything to the best of your ability? Because I believe that if we do, we have a really good locker room, we have really good players, and those talents will shine.
So there you go. You heard Brian Spencer talk about why he subbed Rui Diaz in and put in Arriaga, and also you heard Stefan Frei just talk about where this team is. Now, why did the Rui Diaz have such an impact? Brian talked, X's and O's, but what was the emotional impact of taking him out?
Well, it was felt on the sideline, as was told in the press conference, and you saw Raul come off frustrated, as we've seen him many times in the last couple of years coming off. Especially, he's been feeling like Raul again, and he had that big performance here a couple weeks ago, and it just felt like he was getting back to form. So coming off early because of a red card, and then bringing in obviously Arriaga, it's just, I think it's not to the fans like, hey, we're settling down, we just can't give up a goal, we're not trying to score goals anymore, but it's that vibe of just like you're taking out, I don't want to say your best player, but your most dangerous player, and playing it safe with a center back right before half. I think it just sets the tone for the rest of the match.
Absolutely. Okay, fast forward to the second half, 58th minute. Yamar gives the ball away. And you and I talked about this in the press box. This was more about Vancouver's ability with the extra person to press, let the ball come in as in basketball, as you said, and then flood two people towards him, and then also flood the passing lane, so he had nowhere to pass to. Well executed, you'd say?
Oh, beautifully. It's like we talked about. You let the poor free throw shooter catch the ball on the inbound, and then you just swarm. And that's what it was. And we'll talk about the other center back turnover that turned into a goal as well. But this one felt more of Vancouver forcing it more than Seattle turning it over. Obviously, they capitalized on it, but they just perfectly, as you said, as soon as you saw Yamar hesitate and couldn't get that passing lane, you saw Vancouver press up quickly, get the turnover, and net the first goal of the day.
Well, let's go right into it. So what was then you had another one, and what was the difference in that one?
Anybody who's watched the last few years, Javier Arriaga trusts his feet a lot more than maybe he should. He had, as soon as he checked in the first half, he had one right here where he crossed up his defender and got by him. That's great, but he had 2 defenders crashing down on him behind us on the opposite end, the north end here, and he got picked, and they double teamed him, took it away, and quickly scored the second goal. And it's just, as a center back, you hear no nonsense defending. If you see the passing lane's out there, boot it out. Just live to fight another day. And Arriaga did not live to fight another day. Spezza said he was okay in his performance, but obviously the fans and others feel that his performance was not up to standard.
All right, so you're already down 2-0. You're already down a man, and then 3 minutes later, Spezza said that Alex Rodan gets a red card for just not a bad foul.
Yeah, it's frustration, and it happened, and you can just tell Alex. He knew. He immediately started walking to the tunnel, and I think Spezza said it was stupid. It is
right.
Stupid, and Alex should know better. But that goes to that frustration, and it goes to, mentally, have they gotten to the point where they've checked out because the frustration's built up too much? Stefan Fry addressed that a little bit, and he said, we still have a good locker room, we still have the talent, we still have this and that, but as you and I kind of said, he is the captain now of this team with Nico gone, and you kind of have to answer that, but you don't have to answer that if there isn't some rumblings that the locker room is being lost a little bit and tempers might be at an all-time high.
It's like, I'm okay. Well, wait a minute, we didn't ask you, what I'm saying. I'm good.
Yeah, if you got to tell someone, if you say, hey, and you're like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
If they immediately go to that, then that's a red flag. And I don't want to say, like you said, the sky falling. I don't know, but it just definitely doesn't feel like Sounders Football Club right now. And that's it's concerning.
Well, doesn't get any better. Well, it gives you an opportunity to get better. That is, so a week from today, April 27th, they play DC.
Yep.
And then, 3 days later?
Make up with Philly off that terrible rain. And it doesn't get easier. And not fun stat. Sounders are now 3-6-2. No, was it 2-6-2?
2-3-6. Yeah.
2-3-6. Excuse me.
Right.
In the last 3 years in Cascadia clashes. So whether it's Vancouver or Portland, we know how well Portland's played up here recently. This is the first win for Vancouver here in over 10 years, I believe.
Yeah.
It's just you're not dominating your region anymore, and it's just concerning. And Vancouver fans had a lot to celebrate today, so it's going to be a tough stretch. We talk about get right, but when's it going to get right?
Nah, that's a good point. And in all fairness, this was a good Vancouver team. They were second in the Western Conference. They were coming off a 3-1 pasting by LA Galaxy, who leads the conference. And so Vancouver came in here and said, we got to make a point. To your point, said, forget this region. It is now ours. And the Sounders just weren't ready.
Yeah, they weren't ready at all. And Vancouver came in. It's not a little brother situation anymore. And I think that's what it goes into. The Sounders came in and established themselves. And then you got your brothers to the north and your brother to the south. And those two brothers are stepping it up. And you're kind of on the slide now. The Champions League hangover, when's that going to wear off and get back to Sounders soccer? But right now, it's not great right now in the Pacific Northwest. If you're wearing the Sounder green, I don't know, is it Rave Green still?
Rave Green,
whatever the rebrand is. The rebrand has led to some dark times.
Well, we'll know a lot. We'll know a lot about this Sounder team. In 10 days? Because both of those we talked about when they play. And I don't know where, we're not going to talk about whether you have to win them both, to win one of them, but how they play is right now. It's come down to this. Yeah. How you're playing is the first thing, and you're hoping to get a result. So, that's just the state of the Sounder Nation. I know Brian doesn't want to say Sounder Nation. I forgot what he wanted me to say, but Sounder Faithful.
Sounder Nation, let's sound? Or?
No, he said Sounder Faithful, I believe it is. So, all right, so there you have it. Post-game on the pitch. He's Russell Brown. I'm Streeter Mara Ira. Thank you for listening and watching.